Guys, I got a repair to show you here on a 2004 Chevrolet Cavalier. What we've got is a situation where the shifter is not actuating the transmission, and this is a common problem on these vehicles. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to fix and repair this. If you go under the hood, most likely you'll see what I'm seeing here. You can see right down here, I'm using this pointer here, you can see that the shift cable has come off of the actuator lever here. And the reason for this is there's a small plastic bushing that goes inside of here, and over time this degrades and breaks off, and this is what happens. It's either going to come off here or it's going to come off in the interior on the actual shifter. The best way to repair this is to go pick up a new GM cable, an ACDelco with a GM number of part 227-37100. That would be the right way to do it. It's going to be about the same amount of labor under the hood to do that. This cable then runs off. I don't know if you can see back here, but it runs off into the firewall and then goes inside and connects to the shifter. And inside you'd have to then take apart the center console in order to access that. But there is a cheap method of doing this, and that's just to put a new bushing on here. The bushing for this particular vehicle, right sized, is a Dorman 14055, and it'll have the bushings for both this side, which is the larger opaque colored one, and the inside, which is the one that is rather clear. So I'm actually going to show this. This is not my vehicle, or I would have repaired the full cable. But the person that has this one wants me just to change out the bushing. So I'm going to show you that. What we're going to have to do to get some room to get at this, we're going to have to go over, we're going to have to remove these bolts retaining this plate that's attached to the brake master cylinder so that we can get our hand in here and get some tools in here to remove the remainder of the old bushing and press in the new one. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you that what that looks like after we take this off. Okay, once you get these two 15mm nuts off, you can move the master cylinder and the attaching bracket out of the way. And the reason you want to do that is you want to get access to this 15mm nut that's on the head of the shift lever. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. There it is. So we're going to take that nut off. That's going to let us take the shift lever off, which is where the rest of the broken bushing is. We're going to scrape all that out, and then we're going to be able to have access to the end of the cable, scrape that out, and then we'll mount the new bushing in the end of the cable, and I'll show you how that goes. Okay, so once you get that nut off, you'll be able to slide this shift lever out, and take note of the position, right? This has got to go back in exactly the way you took it out to match up with the shifter's current indication. And then I did this in park, and that's what I recommend you do too. Once you get this out, it comes right off. You can see we've got what's left of the broken bushing here, so we're going to have to tear this up and get it off and clean it so that we just have the stud. Then we're going to go in and put the new bushing into the end of the cable after we clean the pieces out of that. Do not put the bushing on the lever. You'll never get the end of the cable attached to it. It's basically a pressure fit on the end of the cable, and then it snaps pressure fits onto this stud, and that's what keeps the thing safe and secure. So let me get this cleaned off and get the inside of the cable cleaned off and show you how to mount that bushing into the end. Then you can pull this cable up, and I've pushed it and got it secured on the other side of the shift lever attachment where we had that nut. And you can see in there we have some residual pieces of this bushing. And so I'm using a tool like this, combination of tools to pick that out so that we can get it clean for the new bushing. You want to do that and make sure it's very clean. It's just going to fragment out. That's why it broke in the first place. So just pick it out. Just be careful you don't scrape up or damage the black nylon housing. Otherwise you're going to have to get a new cable. So let me finish cleaning that out. Okay. Now we've got the housing at the end of the cable all cleaned out. Now it's time to install the bushing. Now I'm not actually going to be able to show you that because I got to get both hands in here, and it's a really cramped space, as you've probably already determined. And this is probably the hardest part of this. But you can see at this point I've got the open end of the cable facing up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that bushing, I'm going to pan this back a little bit and show you. We're going to put this bushing in with the small end facing into that open cup. So you want the large end of this bushing facing up. This is the part that's going to mate with the stud that's on the shift lever. So small piece goes in, large piece goes up. You're going to sit it in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this with a pair of nylon lined pliers. So we don't want to damage that bushing, so you cannot use a metal tool to do this. You're going to have to use something that will not damage the bushing. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to snap it in to that housing. You might be able to get away with doing this with a flat-ended C-clamp if you can get it in there so that it's not sharp and going to damage the bushing. But this is the next step, is pushing it in, and it'll snap right in. So let me get that in there and show you that, and then we'll show how we get this mated back. All right, got it in there. Actually, it turned out to be easier than I thought. I was going to seat it with my thumb just so it'd stay put and give it a pinch with the pliers, and it snapped right in. So every now and then you get lucky on these jobs. So at this point, we're done, and we're now going to reassemble everything. After we get everything reassembled, then we're going to reach under and we're going to push this back into the stud and have it snap. Guys, you know, actually, when I went to put this shift lever back on, I figured, you know, let me just try to snap it on the bushing while I got more leverage to push against it. And that actually turns out to be a better way. Now, usually I would put everything back together and try to snap it on in from going underneath, but this 2004 has a lot of stuff in the way here. So I think this is what you should do. Just get the lever before you put it on, push it into the new bushing against the housing of the transmission. You'll hear a distinctive snap. That is it locking into place. You've got to hear that snap or that pop or, you know, to know that it's in there good. And then at that point, you can push the lever back over the top of the stud here and mount the the cable back over the top of the stud and mount the lever in and reassemble everything, and you're good to go. And just test out that all the gears are correctly lined up. Remember to put this back exactly where it was. As you tighten up the nut for the shift lever, you're going to want to torque that to 26 foot-pounds. When you torque it, it's going to move. Just make sure you remember the clicks and get it back into the park position that it started with. I hope this helps you out. Thanks a lot for watching.